What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, sorry in advance for, not in advance, but I've been slacking in my Mackin', not putting out videos, but it's been busy at work, so you know what I'm saying. But anyway, I wanted to talk about a bunch of things. I missed the whole, well, first Indiana Jones came out. We'll talk about that. I'll probably do another video about that. But today, I wanted to talk about the Pisser Tech, right? The Pisser Station 5 Potato. There's every time. I mean, look, Digital Foundry was laughing again at them multiple times in this video. And I'm like, how can these ponies, knock unicorns, and the like defend this? $700 in Pisser Tech. They got to take Pisser Tech out of the game to fix the game. The PlayStation 5 version works better than the Pisser Tech Potato version. I'm like, it's kind of fascinating to see this whole thing happen. And the sad thing about it is that PlayStation doesn't have enough time to fix Pisser Tech before the next generation starts. DLSS was trash when it first came out. I mean, it was trash, but it was whatever, first iteration. It's on its, I don't know, fifth iteration. I don't remember how many iterations it's on right now, maybe 4. But now they're saying it's good. It's like the best on PC anyway, right? As opposed to all the different other ones. It took them 5 years to get there. So if you want to extrapolate and say, well, it's going to take Sony it might take Sony longer. You understand? They may never get there. So as far as I'm concerned, Pisser Tech is a failure. It's flat out. I mean, I saw what it was doing. It was like flash. I was like, this is a flash station, Pisser flash station. And what did J-Dub say? Something about the stench, the Xbox stench. Well, I guess we know what the PlayStation fragrance smells like. It smells like piss. And it's yellow, makes everything yellow. Pisser Tech. It's aptly named. It kind of sucks. It's not worth it. It's not worth the 700. It's just bad. And so, yeah. What game was it? It was Avatar, Pandora, Blue People. It's a bunch. There's the collection of games that are worse on PlayStation Pro is greater than the collection of games that is better on PlayStation 5 Pro. That's a problem. I mean, that whole the narrative that's happening, that's forming around the PlayStation, the Pisser Tech 5 Pro Potato is sad and is bad, and it's unfortunate for them. But that's what's happening with that. I don't need to really go, I guess, on and on about it because we all know it's not worth it. It wasn't worth it before Pisser Tech came to be failure and not worth it, and now we see the results. Look, if it was like, oh my gosh, it's so much better. When they first had that, when Mark Cerny was there, I was like, look at the difference between. I was like, what is it? And I'm still looking at videos. I'm like, I don't. And people, this is how bad it is. There are YouTubers out there. There are influencers. There are content creators out there that are saying they're playing a game. Which one is the pro and which one is the amateur? And they're getting it wrong many times. I think this one dude got one right. And I'm like, I think IG might have done that game too. But it's bad when when the public is making fun of you in multiple different ways. So there you go. That's the legacy of Pisser Tech. It's bad. I think they're going to change the name. I think they're going to change the name because Pisser Tech is not. That's stuck. That's the name. So yeah, I think they'll probably change the name. But anyway, moving on to something more. I would say current, and that is the Indiana Jones reviews. Now, I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it in depth, the game itself in depth more in a future video because I haven't played it yet. Because I tried to buy the $35 upgrade, $35 upgrade. You get the Temple of Doom. skin and stuff. I was like, yo, I want the Temple of Doom shirt. And there was something wrong with the servers. It kept kicking me out, and it wasn't working. I was like, oh, well, maybe because I downloaded the Game Pass version, then I can't upgrade. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I don't know. If I delete it, then I could. I don't know. But it should just it's just like a license, so it should. Anyway, I'm gonna try again tonight and see if I can get the upgrade, because I do want the Land of the Giants or whatever it's called, the DLC. So it's like $35, so that's good. But anyway, the reviews are out. Everybody's loving it. Not everybody. There's like 3 dissenting voices. What was it Pure Xbox, I think, and who else? It's funny, like Eurogamer gave it like a 10 or 9 or something. Like all these people, like IGN gave it a 9. Like all the people you figure, oh, they Xbox tax, here it come. Da, da, da. Like boom. A lot of people like Indiana Jones. A lot of people like Indiana Jones more than I thought. And here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to focus on. Now, I haven't listened to Greg Miller because I can't stand that fool. And I haven't listened to Paris because I just haven't listened to. I can't stand him. He's a nice person. And I think I want to listen to his reasoning why he gave it a 7. Now, but here's my thought. And I've heard this anecdotally, obviously. People assumptions or people's anticipation of what this game is supposed to be. That's the flaw in this whole thing, because they said, oh, this game has to be Uncharted but Indiana Jones. Oh, it has to be Tomb Raider but Indiana Jones. And I'm like, I can understand where that line of thinking would come from, because the originator is Indiana Jones and all these other games spawned from it. But what Machine Games did, what Bethesda did, what Todd Howard did, God Howard, is they were faithful to the material, to Indiana Jones, to the character. And that is apparent and is displayed in the gameplay, the type of game it is, and how, if you notice, in the history of Indiana Jones, the movies, let's just say the movies, and we could just kind of we could chop it down to just the first 3 movies. We don't have to talk about the Crystal Skull. We don't have to talk about the Dial of Destiny. We could if we want to, because it still applies. But I think he may have shot one, two, like, I think in the first movie is where he shot the most. He shot because he was at the bar. Remember, he had the fight with Marion and the Chinese dude with he burned the thing in his hand. I forgot his name. And he was like boom, boom. You know, I love them gunshots, man. They sound so good. He was blazing it up in that bar, and then he shot the dude because he was sick that day. Like behind the scenes, he had like the flu, and the dude was like, he's like, bad. He shot him, and I was like, oh, that's so iconic. And that was just like kind of improv. So he shot the most in Raiders of the Lost Ark. In Temple of Doom, I don't think he lost his gun. Wait, did he shoot? Oh, I don't think he shot that much, because they were at the Shanghai place at the restaurant, and then they were shooting him, but he was behind the. And then Willie, he had the gun. Oh yeah, he was shooting at the back of the car. But then he handed her the gun. She was like, "Ooh, ah!" And she dropped out the window. He's like, "Where's my gun? Where's my gun? I burned that thing and I cracked the nail." And so he didn't have the gun for that whole movie. So okay, all right. And then the third one, did he? I don't think he shot the gun at all in that third one. I'd have to rewatch him, but the point is, he is not a gunslinger. Gunplay is not the main thing with Indiana Jones, because he's an archaeologist. He's swashbuckling, if you want to do that. His whip is more of a thing than his gun. And that is reflective in the gameplay. And so the gun is first off, the game is not a first-person shooter. And second off, it's not first-person shooter. And also, the team behind it, yes, they did the Wolfenstein games and stuff like that, but they also did, before that, Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay. And I guess before that, they did The Darkness, Starbreeze, the same stuff. So they have a pedigree of first-person, not shooter games. and people like, whatever. But I appreciate that they're focused more on puzzles and exploration. And like I said, I got to play it, and also I got to look at Paris's review to see what he's talking about. 7 is not the best score. Automatically I would say, like, based off of what I'm seeing, 8 maybe. But like I said, I'd have to play it and see if there are deductions here and there and stuff, or additions. I think it gets a full point just for Troy Baker's performance, for bringing Indiana Jones, like, cause that was like the main thing. Cause I played the Emperor's Tomb, the OG Xbox game from 2003, and I don't know who did his voice, but it wasn't like Troy Baker. It was like, brr. And the thing about that game is more like a Tomb Raider game than it is than the Great Circle is. And it's not as good as far as I can see. It's like not, and it's third person and everything. It's like, no, it's not. But anyway, the point is that, overall, is the last I saw it was at 87, then it went down to 86, and I think it went back to an 87. I'm not sure. That's on Metacritic. OpenCritic is like a 91%. I don't know what the actual number is on OpenCritic, but yeah, it's a good game. And the ponies and the donkey unicorns, they gotta wait. And they're hating because they gotta wait. And so I think this is an illustration of what's going to start happening, what will be happening with the exclusives, the timed exclusives. All the games that Xbox that aren't, like, I'm talking about like new games that are going to be on Xbox first and then on PlayStation. Remember when I said that Xbox is bringing it back to when it was a 360 era and they had time exclusive stuff for like 3 months, 6 months. I don't think they had a year, but maybe a year at most. And they did that because it made, Xbox was the de facto console, but it also made them more desirable. And so they're getting back to that. And that's a more, I guess, fair way, balanced way of doing exclusivity, because you don't lock out a console maker or whatever. That's Sony's thing. They want to lock them out. They want to kill Xbox. They don't want competition. Meanwhile, they don't think about, when they do that, they're harming the industry as a whole. You need competition. You need to have Xbox there with Nintendo and PlayStation. Steam's coming up. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have a console soon. So PlayStation, Sony's whole philosophy is flawed and is bad for the industry. Their behavior for years have been bad for the industry, but no one's been able to stand up to them. Sega was not powerful enough. They didn't have enough money. They weren't big enough to stand up to Sony. But Sony's trying to pull the same thing they pulled on Sega on Microsoft. Microsoft is way, way more powerful than Sony. Okay? If they wanted to, they could destroy them. But they don't want to harm the industry while destroying Sony. And that's what would happen. And so they're smart enough to say, okay, look, Sony's doing these things, these slimy business deals. That's just how they do. But we have to be the bigger company, and we have to say what's best for the industry and what's best for us. Money, right? And Sony's the same way. They want to make that money, but they want to destroy the competition so it is easier for them to make money. They don't have to work as hard. That's the whole thing. If you look at their behavior, that's what they've been doing for years. And so I'm like, all right, well, it's just, anyway, tangent. But anyway, the critics, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is dope as hell. It's people saying it's the game of the year. It's the best game that came out for Xbox this whole generation. It's the best Indiana Jones game ever. It's the best Indiana Jones story. What I say is that they should do maybe a CG version of this as a movie and put it out. The Great Circle CG, you know, hire whatever studio that could use some of the models or redo it or whatever. Have Troy Baker just maybe just use the lines that he used already or whatever. Just do it. Just do the whole movie. That'd be dope. I think that's what they should do with the Indiana Jones character in the movies is change it to CG so that, you know, because Harrison Ford is old as dirt. He's too old to be doing movies. And the last two movies were bad anyway. But anyway, I appreciate you hanging out. Leave me in the comments below what you think about the Pisser Tech. Not good. Look, my camera's like, I'm gonna fade because Pisser Tech, I smell it. Pisser Tech's bad, Indiana Jones good. That's the lessons of today. Anyway, I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you on the next one too.